was up there for a while before that.
It was put up at the time that this issue was brought to our attention publicly. So I needed to ensure the safety and well-being of the students was our priority.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about the scaffold now?
That's the scaffold.
That's the scaffold, okay.
The facade is actually the structure itself.
Right, okay,
The
so-
scaffold is there to ensure that the facade is
that
not
be-
compromised.
Okay, will that be rectified soon, or?
I sure hope so. Again, conversations have taken place, long-range facility plans have been submitted to the Department of Education.
So we're talking almost 2 years that it's been up? 17 months
is
plus,
what you
yeah.
said? Yep,
Plus,
I
yeah.
don't keep track.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything further? Yes.
Yeah, hi, David Lorenzo, 122 East Homestead Avenue, Palisades Park. Just a point of clarification, a few minutes ago, there was a request put in for a debate or meet the candidates night, I believe by Ms. Yoon, through her organization, Korean American Voter Association. And she said they're non-political. And a word of caution, I take exception to that, because Ms. Yoon ran, or tried to run as a candidate on a political organization for council, correct, a couple months ago?
Yeah, but
Okay, well,
that
that's
is a-
good, it's right there, but she did, and there was a court case, and her organization, actually endorsed her and put signatures in it, and the results of that court case was that it was a fraudulent application which was filed, and she was removed from the ballot, and so, as far as not being a political organization, I don't know, I think you guys should do your homework on that. But that's just one point. The other point is, I heard during discussion tonight that there's roll call votes after resolutions, which seems pretty typical. Anybody? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. How are those roll call votes recorded? Recorded on a piece of paper and then preserved into the record?
iPad.
They're being recorded now.
Great, so then there is a formalized roll call vote that's put into the minutes and could be open requested.
Correct.
Okay, so I put in an open request for a bunch of stuff, and Mr. Stabile, so supplied me with what I was looking for. But the question I got is, how do contracts get approved? How do contracts, they get approved by roll call? Because it references in the minutes and a copy of the contracts that I asked for, roll call, but there's no roll call. They don't exist. I
Well, the
mean,
contract is probably, I'm thinking, I don't know what you have there, is probably in the finance resolutions of the meeting.
I asked for, through an open
Yeah.
request, a copy of the contract, which I received.
Right.
Several items, one of them which being the agreements contract,
Mhm.
and the roll call which approved that contract,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't exist.
I don't know what you mean they don't exist.
There's no roll call vote that I was supplied with.
Huh? Excuse me?
Anybody answer that?
I don't know.
It's in the
what you
finance.
do. Yeah. It should be in the minutes. It
Should be, but it's not.
Well, I don't know what you have.
Okay.
Yeah, if you would show me what you have.
Let me ask you another
Yeah.
question.
Uh-huh.
Generally, when a contract's done, it's, from my experience, little I have, it's signed and countersigned by all parties before it's paid or acted on.
It should
I would
be.
think
Mhm.
that would be a
Mhm.
prudent decision to do.
Wait a minute. Paid and,
So let's say, Rich, you enter into a contract with the board, you issue a
Correct.
contract,
correct,
you sign it, then it will go back to the board, or vice versa, and then the board will sign it. And I think before a payment was made, someone would want to see a fully executed contract, correct?
that's what should happen every year.
That doesn't happen.
It always has.
Well, it has, because I got 3 of them here, none of them are countersigned. John signed the one in 2011-12 year, you didn't sign it. Diane didn't sign it.
Wait. But can I just say something?
Sure.
While you're talking about it? I submit contracts as soon as I get a resolution appointing me. Okay? I sign it, I bring it down to the office. That could be a copy, David. I have no idea. I sign
I asked
them
for a copy
every
of the signed
year.
contract.
Who did you ask?
Through open requests, in writing.
Yeah, all right. So maybe Mr. Stabile didn't know where they.
So when
come from.
invoices are put in, invoices, well, it's not on the minutes either, it's not on the minutes on the
I will look
website.
into the minutes tomorrow.
So 2014, 2015, 16, Jeff, I think you signed it. You have any idea what the value was? You wouldn't know off the top of your head, right, for the contract? Would you have any idea on the 2015, 16 year, the contract that you signed? Would you have any idea of what the contract value was? No, I don't expect you to.
Right.
But one question, it identifies a rate of $150 an hour, and there was some circumstances there where 180 was paid, 220, any idea why that would happen? No?
No.
And when it says not to exceed 45,000 or 25,000 and 90 was paid, would you have any idea why that happened?
No, I wouldn't.
No, I think so.
Mr. Lorenzo, you're reading off of papers there. He doesn't, he's not seeing that.
He can
Mr.
speak,
Brother-
he knows.
Oh, I know, but you're asking questions and maybe if you.
Well, Diane, you didn't sign the contracts either, and your name is on it.
Well, maybe I did, so maybe you only have a copy there that's not signed.
Listen, I can only go by what I requested
Okay.
in the Oprah
You're
request. So
welcome
if you
to
didn't
come in
provide me
tomorrow.
information that I asked
You
for,
didn't ask me.
excuse me.
You're welcome to come in the office tomorrow.
No, I'll do it in writing, but
What happens if the contract expires
if
today?
I ask for,
Excuse me? I'm talking.
if I asked for an Oprah request that asked for specific documents, and you did not provide, or the board did not provide documents which do exist, which are those specific documents, I think there's a problem.
I don't believe I answered your Oprah.
I didn't say you did.
Okay.
I said,
well,
Mr. Stabile, you
okay,
did a great
but-
job on doing it.
Okay, fine.
So I'm asking the question as to why there's not fully executed documents,
Yeah.
or the documents which are supplied to me,
Yeah.
which reference a dollar amount, are not accurate.
I don't know.
Okay, simple question, that's very simple.
answer.
Okay, that's all I have for now, I'll be back.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further from the audience? Yes.
Jane Martin, Brinkerhoff Terrace. I have two questions. I was going to ask the same question that Dr. Matarazzo brought up about the facade. At 17 months ago, this was a very important issue for more than one board meeting, and it seems that as quickly as it brought up, it hasn't been discussed since. And we still have the scaffolding on the facade to protect the children. And at the time, 17 months ago, there was a great discussion how we had to protect the children, the children, the children. Well, it's just sitting there. And though that scaffolding is secure and safe, a child could run into all of those poles outside that cafeteria. And we haven't had any movement to finalize the facade that at one time was very important to us. And then secondly, we have the architects, we've submitted plans to the state. It's September, and from the board, it has been stated that next September, we don't have enough classrooms for all of the children that will be going to Lindbergh School. I've had construction, I'm sure you've had construction. It's going to take an awful much longer time than September 2018. So my question is, what's Plan B? Are we putting trailers all over Lindbergh Field? What are you going to do if the construction for new classrooms does not occur before September 2018, which you've stated we don't have enough classrooms for children? I'm just wondering if there's a Plan B, because again, public things take a long time, the wheels do grind slowly, and I understand that.
I guess that means I
And
get to answer
everybody
again.
looks at you,
It's
Mr.
always me. I'll
Cirillo.
do the best I can, once
Dr.
again.
Cirillo, excuse me.
I will say one thing. As president of the board this year, working with Dr. Cirillo, him and I speak at least 3 times a week. It's not only these board meetings, it's for the public. We speak constantly. There has been multiple meetings on this subject, and I'm sure there'll be multiple meetings coming up.
I'm not suggesting that there hasn't been. I'm just saying, we're on the clock.
Yes.
What's Plan B?
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
As I've said before, I continue to work with town officials. It's not the answer you want to hear. I continue to work with buildings and grounds on this board. I try to do the very best I can,
I know you do.
okay? And
I
I'm
know.
not perfect, and it's not gonna be built in a day.
I know
But
that.
at the very least, I can ensure that every single day, what is going on inside our buildings, when these kids enter and when they leave, they're going home with a lot more than they came in with.
Oh, that I know.
And there's no doubt in my mind.
That
We
I
would
know.
not, again, be recognized by organizations outside of these walls. These are not political groups determining whether we're good or bad. We're doing good things.
We
And
are.
again, I would please ask for patience. I hope, again, there are people here today that may have some influence over factors getting done quicker than they need to be. So let's hope that happens.
I do too, thank you. And I have another question. On the new policy regarding school meal program, I'm very encouraged what I see here as far as the children who come to school. They don't have money. They're hungry, they have to eat. I think from what I'm reading here, this new policy goes beyond the child is given a container of milk, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or maybe just peanut butter on white bread, and the child's parents still owe the school district the total amount of the lunch, which I never understood, but I digress. There seems to be written in here, if the child doesn't have money, the child does get lunch, but there's going to be approved choices that the child could get to eat, not the regular lunch. And I think it's also good they can't get any other buffet items, no chips, none of that business.
No snacks.
No snacks. They just get a healthy lunch, maybe not the lunch that was prepared. Do you have a list from, and I'm assuming it's Pomptonian still?
Correct.
Did Pomptonian make the list of what these children who don't have money can choose from?
We just adopted that, Jane, that's brand new from.
Okay, so
from
you
the
don't
state.
have it yet.
So we're gonna give this now to Pomptonian, and they're gonna look at it, and then they'll provide us with a list of healthy choices for children that come to school without lunch money.
And I think all of the things within the policy to make the parent accountable, to see maybe they are able to be part of free lunch or reduced lunch. And if after 2 times, Division of Family Services is notified,
Yeah.
which I think is excellent.
Sometimes it's just neglect, and we don't believe in punishing the children.
No, because the children
Because
do
the
get
parents don't give them lunch
correct,
money.
correct,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
on the elementary
It's
level.
a very good policy that they just.
I think it
incorporated.
is, yeah. I just think, you know, you have to just make sure on the choices that Pomptonian's gonna give you.
Right,
And that those choices are available on those days. You know, not the chicken patty that's been sitting around for 3 days. Because that's what occurs. I don't care what you see when you go and observe. I'm telling you the truth. I've seen those patties roll like a hockey puck and be given to babies that's their lunch. Thank you very much.
So, excuse me, so that means that those kids cannot get what the other kids get, so.
No, they don't get that regular lunch because that's
Wow.
all subsidized and whatever.
I understand
They
that, but
don't get
except,
that.
I mean,
how
it's
does
better
that
than
make?
it was.
But they'll
Before
get
they
better.
would- yeah.
They'll get better than what they were given.
I'm just thinking of that
choices
poor
for.
kid who has to sit there and not eat what his
Well, I
friend
don't
is
know, can they
eating.
come to
You
the
know, how
parents for
horrible.
lunch then?
Yeah, right. And you're talking about the possibility of a lot of kids.
I know.
And it's the parents who are negligent, not the babies.
DIFA should be called.
Not- yes, I think that's
Absolutely, DIFA
perfect.
should be called in.
Yes, they
That's
should be.
new with the diapers.
Yes.
issue.
Absolutely.
That's new.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, very good.
Anything further from the audience? All right, motion to close audience participation?
Make the motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We need to go into closed session and action will be taken afterwards.
I know, but I'm looking through my notes.